It turns out that yapping about books at the afters doesn't go down very well. I learned that the hard way. So you lot are gonna get it instead. I wanna talk about a book called Trust Me, I'm Lying, which is written in 2012 by a writer called Ryan Holiday. He was a marketing director / media consultant. And this book kind of outlines how he used controversy to sell products and gain attention on what he was working on. I feel like every time I open up my TikTok at the moment, I'm getting loads of videos of that DJ that takes his top off and sticks his tongue out where he's got loads of girls in the background. Ultimately, the music is terrible, but I think these videos kind of remind me of this book and what's going on in the wider underground presenting dance music world. The first part goes into why blogs and small scale media matter and how you can manipulate them, and then the second part is a bit more cautionary as to why you wouldn't want to do that and the effects of it. There's another book that I'd recommend that's actually cited in this one. It's called Amusing Ourselves to Death by Neil Postman, and it kind of talks about how the method of communication can kind of shape culture itself. In this book, he kind of talks about how the transition from printing press to telegraph to television made it that political content and news and art and culture is way more snappy because it's designed for TV. Obviously it's quite old, but there's some parallels between that and the TikTokification of everything at the moment. There's a few cool points in this book that I think kind of line up with what's going on in the scene, like I said earlier. It's mainly rooted in how anger and outrage can be the main driver of growth. So for example, now you'd see this in rage bait, you see this in very off-putting hooky videos, you'd see this in DJs sharing content that is gonna get hated on, but it's still gonna get spread and it's gonna add to their numbers. He also talks about editorializing reality and kind of presenting information in a way that makes the reader come to the assumption that you want them to come to. Misleading captions, videos edited in a certain way to make the crowd look like they're reacting in a certain way. It covers a pseudo event, which is an event that you kind of make yourself. This is an opportunity for you to have full control over how it's presented and how it appears to the public. In television, this can be a film premiere or a meet and greet with the artist or a Q&A with the artist in which you control the event, you control how it's staged, but it's still something you can give to someone else to present as a story later on down the line. Pop-ups or these boardroom style live streams, which are completely curated. There'll be a bunch of people in the back that have been curated to perfection from Instagram to make sure it fits an aesthetic of what the artist's doing. And that's to say all this kind of stuff ties in together in this concept that he calls trading up, in which you use these little wins to present them to someone bigger to get a bigger win. I'll send my track to a few DJs, they play it on radio, I give it to a publication saying these people are supporting it, the publication puts their name behind it. My numbers get boosted by the publication, so I go to an agent and say, okay, he's got a bigger audience here. It's all kind of feeding into the same ecosystem. There is a cautionary section in this book, and I think it's been discussed by people in dance music so often, like the algorithmification, is that a word? Of everything, or what I would call the KPIfication of dance music, in which, there's a lot of very sanitized, boring, middle of the road music that's doing very well. A lot of these strategies are quite interesting and it's a really fun read. I personally love a bit of rage bait. I just think at the end of the day, if you're doing it to get engagement, make sure your tunes aren't shit.